The story of the Keller family is one that took place just before the bombs fell. It is a story of a family trying to escape the nuclear holocaust, and so it is a story that, right up until the bombs hit, was very common. But we don't give two shits about all those other peons. We only care about this story. So it's composed of 5 tapes, and the first is found here, north of the VAPL 58 power station, on this shelf. Let's have a listen.
Tina, it's me, your brother, Alex. Listen, Mom would kill me if she knew I was contacting you, but she's being an impossible bitch right now. You have to come home. Do you understand me? This thing with China, it's not going away. We're gonna try and get into one of those vaults. If that doesn't work, well, I have a backup plan. There's this secure bunker, another sort of vault, inside the National Guard depot, and... Look, no matter what it takes, the whole damn Keller family's gonna ride this storm out, but you've got to get your ass home. Now.
So we're introduced to 2 characters, Alex and Tina. It appears that Tina is slightly estranged from the rest of the family, or at the very least, there is a bit of tension. Now, since we do not know anything about Tina yet, we don't know whether this is warranted or not. The family is planning to try and get into one of the vaults. Now, since it's unlikely they will get in, Alex, one of the sons, has a backup plan. He knows about a secure bunker inside the National Guard depot. We don't know how he knows this, but he does. Now, on to the second holotape. The second tape is located inside the church at Hallowed Mirror Cemetery. The place is full of super mutants, so be careful. The tape is found resting on the pedestal just inside the front door of the church. Here it is.
Paul, it's me, Tina. I heard back from my sister Candace. We couldn't get into a vault. 101, 87, didn't matter. All full to capacity. But my brother Alex is a soldier and he sort of stole the passcode for a secure army bunker. He did it for the family, but they caught him. Before they took him into custody, Alex, he sent us each one number of the 4-digit code. That way we all have to be together to get in. He gave me number 5, the day of my birth. So I guess what I'm saying is, I'm still leaving. It's been fun. Kind of. Oh, and I'm not pregnant, so no worries.
So we learn now of Paul and Candace. Paul is Tina's boyfriend and Candace is her sister. The plan to get into the vault 101 or 87 was unsuccessful, and so they have to fall back onto Alex's backup plan, the bunker. He apparently stole the code to the door and was caught, but not before he sent the code out. Now why in the fuck it's only 4 digits for a military bunker on par with the vault is beyond me. But it is, and he gave Tina the number 5. Also, she abandoned Paul and the only excuse was I'm not preggers. So yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say her mother does not like her because she's a wee bitch. Third holotape is located here, at the Grizzly Diner. This place is full of traps and some well-armed raiders, so watch yourself going in here. The third tape is located on this desk out the back, although I already picked it up. Let's have a listen.
Mom, it's Candace. Oh my god, it's really happening. I can see the cloud. It's so big. Mom, I'm so scared. I'm heading to the vault now. I'll do whatever I can to get inside. My number of the passcode was 7, right?
So Candace is losing her shit, and it appears that a nuke has impacted near her. Close enough for the cloud to be seen anyway. She states she is going to get into the vault. Now, I find it odd as later entries also called a vault, and it really isn't, it's a bunker. So that's weird. She says her number is 7, and then there's only static. Now, we do not know yet if she's dead, but we will find out later. Number 4 is found inside the sniper's shack, located west of Rockbreaker's Last Gas, on top of a big cliff. The tape itself is on the bench to the right. Here is what it says.
Ralphie, son, this is your father. We can't get into the goddamn vault without you. Get your ass over here now. My 4 is useless without you, boy.
So Ralph has chosen not to join the family at the bunker. Now we have heard the mother being described as a bitch. The father only seems to care about getting into the bunker. Tina seems to be an inconsiderate slut, and Alex joined the army in the middle of an impending nuclear war. Alex chose to abandon his family when the only alternative was death, and Candace seems like maybe the only not insane one? The last entry is number 5, and is found inside a tent surrounded by some trucks north of the Anchorage Memorial. and it is found on the desk in the left corner of the tent.
Candace, it's Ralph. Tell Dad there's no way in hell I'm spending nuclear Armageddon trapped with him in a fucking closet. You can have my number. It's 6. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got a mushroom cloud to walk into. Have a happy Holocaust.
So Ralph has opted to kill himself by walking into nuclear fire, or slowly dying via radiation poisoning, as opposed to spending any measure of time underground with his father, which means the dad was probably quite the arsehole. His relationship with his sister, however, does seem to be better, and he cares enough about the rest of the family to give them the code so they can actually get into the bunker, as opposed to just letting them die, which he would have been able to do so easily. Altogether, the code is 4567. Now we know Ralph didn't join them, as he states so in his tapes. Alex is presumed to not have either, as he was arrested after he leaked the codes. The only thing left now is to take a look at the National Guard depot and the bunker itself. The National Guard depot is located near Tacoma Industrial, and as large structures within Fallout 3 go, it's really weird. The inside has been severely damaged, with many walls destroyed and all sorts of shit lying all over the place. Parts of the building are even irradiated. Now this is weird only because the radiation is low and the outside's fine, so it isn't like a nuke impacted here or anything. Part of the ceiling is collapsed and will afford walkways for you to navigate your way throughout the buildings. The Securitron and Protectrons can be found throughout, clearly left behind to guard the building, although the only thing worth guarding is the bunker. Perhaps they did so, as the door only has a 4 fucking digit lock to secure it. The other weird thing is that it is completely empty. I could not find a single skeleton anywhere, and for a military base in DC, that is really odd. Then again, they may have been evacuated, as that is the only way the killers would have possibly got into the bunker. The training wing has further evidence this place was completely abandoned, just before the bombs hit. Not a single terminal is still active. In fact, most of them are broken, almost as if attempts were made to conceal data. Training equipment can be found in the back, and then a firing range with sandbags, no doubt where new recruits were trained. A robo-brain and more Protectrons can be found here as well, which is odd, as I wouldn't consider a firing range a prime place that needed protection. A lot of useful ammo and aid can be found here, so make sure you stock up as much as you can. After the training wing is the Depo Office. Given the volume of cubicles, I assume this is where the majority of admin work would have been carried out, and given that it was wartime, they would have had a large amount of recruits to process and enroll in the military. Some big creepy statues can also be found near the stairs. The next room is also radiated and the roof has collapsed. Once again, I am not sure why the radiation is exclusive to just one area. Lastly, it's time to look into the bunker and find out what became of the family killer. You must unlock the outer door using a lever you find on one of the ledges. After that, you may enter the bunker. It is full of many types of weaponry and ammunition, many of it in good nick. The Small Guns Bobblehead can also be found here. It appears that this may have been a storage unit for equipment that soldiers emerging from the bunker would need, as radiation suits are also present. Then, you interact with the terminal and go open the bunker proper. It also has a lot of supplies inside that look like they were salvaged from outside the bunker, which means you can assume at this point that the family made it into the bunker and went outside at some point. Now we are free to poke around, right? No, it turns out we're not alone. A ferro-glowing one can be found inside the bunker, nice and ready to rip you to shreds. Once you've dispatched it, you can find 3 skeletons lying on beds at the back of the bunker. Clearly the other remnants of the Keller family. I say other as that ghoul was one of them, but more on that later. On the desk is the Experimental MIRV, a unique fat man that fires 8 mini nukes at once. So it's your prize for getting into the bunker. But now the real mystery. Who was the ghoul? Well, I think it was the dad. And here's why. There was another holotape, one cut from the game granted, and it was another one from Candace. And it reads as follows. Dad just won't listen to a word I say. He keeps leaving the bunker to salvage supplies from the rest of the base. I understand he's bored, cooped up in here, but so are the rest of us. And the bunker's secure. Every time he leaves, he exposes all of us to that damn radiation. After all the effort I took to get us all in here, Dad's willing to throw it all away, just because he's a bit antsy. I really hate him sometimes. So the father left the vault to get supplies, but it's implied they didn't need them. Now since the bombs had just fallen, the radiation would have been quite high, so he would have been constantly exposed. Based on the amount of items that can be found in the vault, it is clear that more than a few trips were made. It's also quite selfish that he puts them all at risk by repeatedly opening the bunker, possibly exposing them to radiation and killing them. So Ralph seemed to have the right idea, and that killing himself was a better fate than spending any measure of time with this selfish pleb. In the end, his trips turned him into a ghoul, and he most likely butchered his entire family. Or he was a non-feral ghoul and his family died of old age or lack of food. Then the loneliness and isolation drove him mad and turned him into a feral ghoul. I really hope it was the latter, as he definitely deserved it. So this is the story of House Keller. Alex made a noble sacrifice and got the codes to access a bunker that would save his family. Tina abandoned her boyfriend and went with the family to the bunker. Ralph chose death rather than spend time with his father, though ultimately he gave them the codes so they could survive. Candace, in the cut tapes, bitches about her life in the bunker, and we can assume the mother was there too, based on the number of skeletons. The bunker also seems to have only been partially finished, which would explain why the army abandoned it and didn't try to take shelter within it. The father left the vault repeatedly and succumbed to radiation, turning into a ghoul, and most likely murdered his whole family. We finally end him when we put him down ourselves, bringing an end to a family line that persisted 2 centuries after nuclear Armageddon. A story that takes a while to piece together, and I hope you enjoyed me doing so. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a share. If you want to see more of my content, check out my playlist to see if there are any more questions on Fallout that you have, and I may have answered. Any support in spreading the word of this channel is greatly appreciated, as Fallout 4 is just around the corner. If you want to support me and get regular updates, subscribe. Any questions or feedback for this episode should be left either in the comments below or on my subreddit, which is linked in the description. Follow me on Twitter or Facebook to get regular channel updates and to talk to me or have a wee chat. I hope you did enjoy this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.